how long until these guys actually turn around? To me, 2024.
I'm stretching it out to 2025 at least.
In 2023, next year, they'll only have $19 million in cap space. But in 2024, the Lions have over $120 million in cap space.
It's the whole JMO situation. Like, a month away, those type of moves that are being made shows no sense of urgency, no sense to compete. A lot of like developmental pieces, a lot of guys that you're waiting on.
Hopefully they'll have their quarterback of the future by then.
Detroit Lions, guys. I know I gave out my expectations a little bit yesterday, dove into it. I'm actually curious to hear your take on this one. I said 2024. Because again, it's team patience. It's not even a team thing. It's just a reality situation. But like, how long until these guys actually turn around? To me, 2024.
Yes.
I know it hurts to hear, but is that where you're at too?
That is where I'm at. If you take your Neil Rule glasses and put them on and look at the books, look at the salary cap, look what's going on there. In 2023, next year, they'll only have $19 million in cap space. And that doesn't include signing your rookie class, going forward with everything like that. So they're not going to be able to make too many big, impactful moves this summer. You might be able to bring in one guy, one good player, two players to bring in and help that defense. But in 2024, the Lions have over $120 million in cap space, but they only have 26 players rostered. So they're going to have to work out new deals for players. They're going to have to sign 2 rookie classes on top of that. But even after all of that, you're still looking at around $70 to $80 million in cap space that you can spend on players to make the Detroit Lions a better team. So in 2024, I think that's when you're going to see it. Hopefully they'll have their quarterback of the future by then. Hopefully they'll add another defensive piece or 2 through the draft by then. And then the Lions can go out there, grab some legitimate pieces to help that defense get better, grab some legitimate weapons to put on the offensive side of the ball. You look at that, and that number still includes Jared Goff at $31 million a year, still includes Romeo Okwara at $3.5 million a year, and still includes Taylor Decker at $19 million a year. So who knows, maybe they move on from Decker. We expect them to move on from Goff by that point. And maybe Romeo Okwara is gone by the... People are talking about, where's J-Mo? Where's Romeo? Where far out thou? Romeo. Romeo. I'm on the balcony pleading for you. Romeo, where are you? It's pretty good. He drank the poison early. Like, he ended it too early. We still need him out there. We need you, champ. And the Detroit Lions have the flexibility, have the structure of their cap to be able to do something in 2024. That's what this is building towards. That's where this team and Brad Holmes will have some freedom. 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 What are those? Freedom. Isn't that like a Viagra commercial?
Whoa, no.
I'm pretty sure it was, or Cialis or something. But you look at that cap structure, and that's when the Detroit Lions will be able to start adding pieces or making a legitimate team, making legitimate moves in free agency. So hopefully they stockpile another 2-3 draft picks this year that can do something, and then 2-3 draft picks that year that can do something, before going out and grabbing actual Pro Bowl talent, whether that be on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. Hopefully defensive.
Yeah, I mean, essentially that's where I'm at too. I think you could clear a lot more cap space than like what's being looked at right now, just because you have like the contracts of obviously Quar, like you said. I think $7 million save if you cut him next year. You have the contracts of Big V, the contract of Brockers, you get let go of 2. Jared Goff, if you eventually move on from that one too. Like at that point, you're looking at upwards like $45 million. Will that expedite this process? Hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it would. Unfortunately, you'd still be dealing with, obviously at that point, if you're moving on from Goff, a rookie quarterback. And since 2011, I think there's been 12 rookie quarterbacks to start postseason games. The last one to win was what was his name? Aaron Wolf. Oddly enough, got the nod over Jared Goff in his rookie year.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, Jared Goff was hurt.
This Tom. Who needs a Tom?
Who needs a Tom?
Yeah. That's McVay had to split at that point too, though.
Yeah.
Because then Jared Goff's gone, finito. But yeah, I mean, regardless, if you're having Goff next year, then you're not going to have that amount of cap space to work with. It's just as you said. And then if Goff is still performing the way that he just is, like he is himself, can he perform with weapons around him? Yeah. Is he still limited with those weapons around him, like Bill Belichick did? Shut off what he does well. I mean, it's not hard to do it. It's harder to do when you have weapons like DeAndre Swift and the boys, but it's not hard to do like once you find out, you know what I'm saying, like what you're doing to make this guy work, because he's limited. He can't throw that ball further than 20 yards down the field. You know what I'm saying? You bring everyone up tight, you stop things from going deep, where it's like obviously deep, you hit them open like that, and like you're done. He's done so. But ultimately, you're going to have to bring in a rookie quarterback here. Year one, I just can't see him going to the playoffs, especially with this organization. I truly can't. And truth hurts. I said this yesterday, you know, but it is what it is. It sucks. You had to come to this reality of the situation, but it is what it is at this point. JB, are we you think the Lions can turn around next year? Is there anyone in the Woodward Sports chat that thinks the Lions can turn around as soon as next year? I really don't see it.
Whoa, you said next year?
Yeah, because I'm saying 2024. But I'm saying, is there anybody on the opposing side that said it could be sooner? Because I'm sure the people who want Campbell fired now are going to have that same narrative next year, too.
So, definitely not next year, but are we talking about the Lions getting consecutive wins, or we're talking about actually competing for championships here?
Not championships, but yeah, just playoffs.
Playoffs?
Like win a division, make a playoff, even if it's a wild card.
I'm stretching it out to 2025 at least. Like you gotta clear up a lot of the books right now. Get in the right proper players that you need. Get rid of a lot of players that you don't need right now. And they, as we were talking about earlier, they all just got to gel a little bit more together. So I'm saying 2025 at least.
I feel that it's gonna take a little while. I think 2024 is a good mark though, because that's when they can start bringing. I think that's when you'll see the team actually change. That's when you'll see this team get significantly better. Is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for significant improvements. I'm looking for not getting blown out. I'm looking for not getting held scoreless against a team that goes and loses to the Bears by 20 points.
Yeah.
I'm looking for this team to make good moves to put them in better situations, and I think in 2024 you'll really start to see the fruits of Brad Holmes's labor flourish.
Hey, yo. No, but honestly, what I say earlier in the year, I don't know, I always do that to you. I apologize. But what I said like 2 or 3 weeks ago, talking about Brad Holmes
Juggling.
tanking.
Oh, yeah.
And but looking at the moves he's made, like the draft moves, like in particular too, like the fact the whole JMO situation, like a month away, like fam, you're gonna be like looking at it almost a year at that point. It's really annoying. That pisses me off. But like those type of moves though being made shows no sense of urgency, no sense to compete. And I saw a couple of Lions fans speaking like, "Oh, retool." He said retool. He lied to us. You bought that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, really?
What are they going to retool?
What are they retooling here, bud? Like, you got Jared Goff at the helm of this situation. Like, that's your captain. You're crashing. I hate to tell it.
For sure. Ship sinking.
But
Titanic style.
Be
Violins are still playing on the way out.
Beyond J-Mo, you had the Josh Pascal situation this year, which he knew was going to take time. You had the Le'Veon Enrique situation last year, which he knew was going to take time. You had Ife Melifonwu, who initially entered the league as a cornerback, then turned safety. I don't know if that's what they saw him as, but I know that's a discussion that I had with our guy, Scott Bischoff, as soon as he was drafted. A lot of like developmental pieces, a lot of guys that you're waiting on. I mean, even going into this year, beyond J-Mo, Pascal, you had James Mitchell, the tight end. They grabbed in that 5th round, who's had his ACL situation too. Malcolm Rodriguez, he wasn't supposed to be what he's supposed to be this early. I'm telling you that right now. I mean, Brad Holmes and Ragnar sat side by side, and they were like, yeah, we saw him as a full-core special teams guy. Well, now he's your starting linebacker, and quite honest with you, probably your best starting linebacker.
Yes, probably the most consistent player on your defense.
Like, I don't want to use the term tanking, but maybe, here's a key word of the week, right? Patience.
Patience.
And I think that's why that's the same game plan that he expressed to Sheila, and that's why she's expressed confidence in leadership, because
so you're buying
they force
everything
off.
Sheila was selling.
Yeah, I mean, she gave you the truth. It's the reality situation.
You're talking about it from Brad Holmes' perspective. What about Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell, I mean, he knew what it was too, though. I hate sounding like a broken record,
But
like I say all the time, but
will you have the same patience
that's the question, right? Can the fan base withhold? Can they hold out for that long? And that's what I'm kind of looking. I'm looking at you guys in the Woodward Sports Chat to let me know, like, are you willing to hold out that long? Mm-hmm. It's because it's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck,
especially when you start buying in the offseason. I was guilty of it this offseason, buying in. I mean, we did have the situation with Tracy Walker go down, but we'll see.
It's gonna suck for sure. But you know what doesn't suck? It's getting great meat